We are live. We are all so direct with Erin McCullough, who helps busy entrepreneurs scale their business without added time and stress, helping to eliminate burnout, stop firefighting, and lead to efficient scaling. She has proven systems to help founders get unstuck because most entrepreneurs are masters at their craft, but as the company grows, that mastery becomes a bottleneck. So working with Erin, you have a proven founder freedom system to build systems that perfectly make sense to get higher value, higher volume, and buying your weekends back. Welcome to She Leads, She Sells to Erin McCullough in the building.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Amazing. I know we spoke a bit earlier about who is absolutely perfect for you to serve, but if you'd like to just dig in for us, like who is the perfect type of entrepreneur that you'd like to work with in general? Like what's a good fit for you?
Yeah, any founder, entrepreneur, CEO that is having a difficult time managing their time. Um, the business size is not exactly relevant, but most of the businesses that I work with are, 20 employees or less. It doesn't mean it wouldn't be effective at a higher, a bigger team. And these people are, they have the best intentions and they want the best for their team and their business, and they're very driven. And maybe they don't recognize that they aren't present in their life. They don't recognize that they're, at the kids' soccer game physically, but mentally solving problems in their business, having a difficult time, managing their time. So they're spending a lot of time working. Maybe the wife, husband is asking for some more like presence. Like, where are you? Where'd my partner go? That sort of thing. And they're just frustrated. They're frustrated with their employees, feeling like they're doing a lot of the work still in their business.
Okay, yeah, thanks for sharing that. I know you have a process, the inner strength, outer impact. Do you just want to kind of lay out what that is, inner strength, outer impact?
Yeah. So, I mean, everything starts up here, like in the mind, right? We think that what our mind is telling us is the truth, when in fact it's, telling us the truth about the past. So what ends up happening, especially as we get, further and further into our leadership roles, we believe those past experiences and we don't allow new information to come in. It's why business owners become the bottleneck, is because maybe they've bootstrapped their company all the way to this point and they've had success and they want to get to that next level and they're not able to get there because the tactics and the way they were being to get to where they're at will not work for that next level. And so that requires an introspection to figure out, like, what's going on here that I was able to do all this and have all this success. Why can't I exponentially scale this business this way? And part of the reason is when you scale a business in the beginning, like when you start it and do all the things, you forget that you don't have to run all the things. At some point you can bring other people in and you don't have to do it all yourself. So yeah. So it's a mindset shift, it's a perspective shift. And if you don't do that part, then you just keep working harder and harder and harder and wondering why the results aren't reflecting that hard work.
Nah, brilliant. I know you speak about scale. I know that this book has,
All my clients always
yes,
tell me about that, but
yeah. It's very
I
good in
actually
terms
have
of
it
that.
on hold at the library. I haven't read it yet.
Wow. Okay. No. So that's a good one. So what other books have you read in terms of like what's been important reading wise that's helped you in your ability to help companies scale? Yeah.
I mean, I've read all the Think and Grow Rich
Yes.
and Stephen Covey stuff. All of those things have been, and I read one recently and I can't think of, and it was very interesting. It's all very tactical and I like that part. I love like talking about business and how to scale in terms of um systems and formats and things to follow, frameworks. Um, but the thing is like I can tell you I have a blueprint for, scaling the business.
Hmm.
But the problem is we're all individual. So we're all have different experiences. So it's like just because that framework worked for me in building my business, I have to figure out like it's bespoke to each person. There are some business ideas that translate across, but a lot of them don't
Hmm.
because of the industry or the person behind them. They're, don't have the capability or don't have the mastery in, whatever it is, sales or leadership or whatever it is. And so, that's why working with a coach is so important is because there is no one size fits all. If there
100%.
was, there'd be one master and we'd all be doing it and everybody would have the same level of success.
Well said.
We don't. And part of that is, again, like we have to tap into how our mind works. And if we don't know how our mind works, we don't have the skills to get our mind to work how we want it to focus in and have intention and all of that, then we end up doing the same things over and over and over again and wondering why we don't get different results.
Yeah. It's quite interesting in terms of you mentioning the mind. I've been studying the mind in relation to a book that I've got coming out in terms of sales and the fact that people might try and sell consciously by giving the facts, by giving the figures, by giving the testimonials. But the subconscious is asking, do I trust it? Is this great?
Yeah.
Will this work for me? And that translates itself into objections. In terms of what you do, like, how does the mind come into it, whether you want to talk about subconscious, conscious, or like limiting beliefs, like whatever the angle is, like what angle is it for yourself as to how the mind works
Yeah.
for
I
you
mean,
or against you in terms of scaling?
well, first of all, the subconscious mind is running the show 95% of the time. So if you don't
Hmm.
have access to the subconscious mind, you are literally Groundhog's Day. You're having the same experience every single day. We have something like 20 to 40,000 thoughts per day.
Hmm.
85% of them are the same.
Hmm.
And there's a pattern. It's like thought, emotion, action, right? That's how we go about the
Yes.
day. And most people, it's up and down. It's like, oh, this thing happened. Now I have a thought about that, or I'm thinking about the past, or I'm worried about the future. And then we get stuck in this like same, same, same. And the subconscious mind loves that because all it wants is for you to be safe, like
Hmm.
alive and not hurt, right? Beautiful sentiment, except that in that box of safety and sameness, you never can grow and change and evolve and expand. And so, if you can't do those things, then you stay stuck. And you may have an idea, oh, it's New Year's, I'm going to make a resolution or I'm going to set these goals or whatever. And I set them, and, week two weeks in, maybe a month, and then all of a sudden they've dropped off. It's because the subconscious mind is literally resisting any kind of change because it doesn't know what it is. So it is becomes a threat. So if you don't have a way to tap into that and recognize, so you mentioned something else, limiting beliefs, right? Whatever you believe, you make the truth. And these belief structures were put in place a really long time ago, like when you were
Hmm.
a child and you had an experience that didn't serve you or suit you, that was painful, possibly. And you made that mean something about you. Whatever that was, that is the wallpaper in your life. And so it's just like this thing running back here all the time. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't deserve. Maybe I'm not lovable. Maybe I don't have value. So let me become this like super duper entrepreneur and be super successful so that somebody will finally acknowledge that I have value, that I'm worth it, that I can do it, that I'm, and then they get there and they're like, wait a minute, I still feel the same. How come?
Hmm.
And it's because you can't, just by doing all of that stuff, it propelled you to do all those things, but it's not who you are.
Yeah.
Who you are is much bigger than that.
Hmm.
Setting goals and doing these things, that's exciting and fun to do. And I would never discourage that. But there's much more here. We're here to be on purpose, in purpose, doing stuff that is meaningful, not only to us, but to like everybody who gets to be around us.
Mm.
And if we don't do those things, then nobody benefits. You don't get to fully come into your full fruition, and nobody else gets to benefit from that either. So it's all important. All these pieces are important. And that's why, if you work with a coach who understands these pieces that are going on behind in the background and has tools to help you combat some of these ideas that you've been living with all this time, then the sky is the limit. Like anything that speaks to limitation is a lie.
Wow. Beautiful.
Anything that says, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, maybe I can't do this, questioning yourself is a lie.
Mm.
It's a lie that somebody told you was okay. And now I'm here to tell you that you don't need it anymore. And there's ways to get rid of it.
Yeah, great point. There's a Navy SEAL like commander guy called Jocko. Have you heard of Jocko? Jocko Willnick. He's leadership, but he comes in the angle of he was a commander or something along those lines. He says all excuses are lies. All excuses are lies, and so if we reframe, then we're able to take them power and meaning from anything. How are you getting visible? I see you've got extensive testimonials, great website. But yeah, what's some of your favorite ways to get visible?
Did you say visible?
Yeah, visible. Yeah,
Yeah.
visibility. Yeah, how do you, yeah, what do you
It's
do?
kind of interesting. I had a little I did a little return. For years I posted on Instagram and just, whatever thought came up, something that inspired me or whatever. And I started to gain a following. And in my mind, I kept thinking, like, for all the work I'm putting into this, it just doesn't seem like there's much payoff, right?
Hmm.
Because I wasn't getting new clients from it or anything. I was just like, just sharing knowledge that I had learned. And, and then like we pop on here and you're like, I followed you for a long time. And I was like, oh, that's cool,
Mm.
And that happens, people go like, oh, that video you said about that, or that thing really rang true for me or whatever. So, I had to shift because for a minute there, I was like, oh, AI is so great and maybe it'll help me with my content and all of that. And what I started to realize is that it wasn't my voice anymore. Like it had like slowly evolved into not me and not interesting. And I
Mm.
just felt like I was kind of an imposter, And I was
Yeah,
like, no, we got to go back to what do I know? What I know for sure is that every individual is a light and powerful and limitless. And I want to speak to that, because there's all this other stuff speaking to the negative, to what's wrong with what's going on, what's wrong with you, and why you're not successful and or are but still feel terrible. It's just like I want to speak to your soul and tell you that you are worth it, you have power, you
amazing.
can do this, it's
Yes,
100% available, you are amazing.
yes.
Yeah, and that is important because we don't get that. I'm like on your side. I'm over here cheering you on energetically,
Love it.
physically, jumping up and down, going, you are amazing. Let's
Love it.
go.
Yeah, I do love what you say in terms of, yes, AI is around and might make some processes easier, faster. Okay, we want to use those things that can create efficiency, but AI isn't emotional intelligence or isn't divine intelligence. And so still have to tap into essence, who we are, which I think is an amazing point.
Well, and the thing with AI is it doesn't have consciousness. So that's not possible to replace humans because we communication wise, there's the verbal communication, there's, your physical, like how you're being, right? We pick up on those
Mm.
things. But the biggest thing we pick up on is energy, right? When your loved one walks into the room and they're like in a good mood, bad mood,
Yes.
something's going
Yeah.
on with them, right? Or when your boss is talking to you and he's saying something, or just anybody is saying something to you and you feel like what they're saying is not matching how you're feeling their energy or whatever, or how they're being, right? And you're just like, this doesn't line up.
Hmm.
Or, when somebody's trying to get one up on you, right? You're just
Yeah.
like, they're saying this thing, or someone's trying to be manipulative. You're like, they're saying this thing that sounds all, rainbows and sunshine,
Hmm.
but the feeling I'm getting doesn't align with that. So
Hmm.
we have that going on all the time, but we don't talk about it. And if we talked about it, then we would know. We know what is
We
right
know.
for us.
Yeah.
We know. We
Mm.
all the answers are inside of us. They're not
Hmm.
out here. I'm not telling people what the answers are for them. All
Yes.
I'm doing is asking them enough questions and teaching them enough tools so that they can learn about them. We are here to be in relationship with ourself and other people, but mostly ourself. The love of your life is you. All the time that you spend should be mostly on you figuring out what's up with you so that you can bring the light for everybody around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I like the way you put. I like the clarity in terms of how you speak, um, and the humanness that you bring to the table, which I think is great. Um,
Yeah.
do you do workshops? How are sales working for you? Is it offline workshops? Do you do webinars? Do you do sales calls? Like, what's the vibe?
Yeah. So I do sales calls.
Hmm.
I do like a free discovery call. Um, that's just to see if we line up. And it's not really a sales call because the reality is if you're not ready, then you're not ready. And you'll know when you talk to me whether you're ready or not, but usually when people show up on the call, they're ready. A lot of times they're in fear though,
Hmm.
because they're scared. They think that doing this kind of work on their mental, emotional self is going to be scary and hard. And it's not. It's fun. I'm fun.
Yes.
If it's not fun, it's really not worth doing as far as I'm concerned. And
No.
so it's like I do
Definitely.
it in a fun way, in an exciting way, like let's discover these things together and we don't have to
Beautiful.
get all heavy and weird and hard. Sometimes you got to look at stuff, but yeah, I mean, so I do the discovery call and usually it leads to another call. And then in that other call, they want to know all the things. But the reality is, while I have a process, there is a lot of things that I teach and I teach just about everybody the same thing, usually in different order, just depending on where somebody's at. Um, it's not the process. That's not the thing. What it is, are you ready to be a different version of you, like the fullest version of you? That's it,
Amazing.
you know?
Mm.
And so, yeah, so I get people I do some outbound outreach on LinkedIn. Um, I usually do videos because I think that they're way more personal. I could
Right.
write a bunch of words, but you wouldn't feel my vibe. So,
Mm.
and then, we have a call. And then if it feels like alignment, then we work together. What else do? I do social media. I do posts and stuff. I don't, sometimes I think LinkedIn probably thinks that my videos and stuff are like out there, but I don't care because I'm going to just be me and, whoever can, vibe on that, I'm here. I literally just want to support people. I have a lot of knowledge from being an entrepreneur for 26 years. And I love talking about business and I love talking about mindset and I love talking about the subconscious mind and how you change all these
Beautiful.
things. And I love growth and expansion. And if any of those things sound interesting, I love to just have a chat about it. You don't even have to work with me. Let's just
Amazing. Amazing. Which leads to my final question. How do they get in contact with you and who are you looking for?
Yeah, so I'm looking for anybody who's searching, anybody who's like, I'm tired of doing the same thing. I'd like to have an expansive life. I want to, be into my full potential. Um, I work too much. I want to be connected to my family and friends and have like a full balanced life and be in purpose and on purpose, like
Hmm.
all the time, intentional about what I'm doing, bringing love and peace and harmony to this world. And you can find me at erin-mac.com. That's my website. You can
Hmm.
find me on LinkedIn under Erin McCullough. You can find me on Instagram at Erin Mac LLC or Erin Mac Coaching. And you can find me on Facebook at Erin McCullough or Erin Mech Coaching.
Amazing. So good to connect with you. Thank you for your time, Erin. Definitely appreciate you and your wisdom.
My gosh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. She sells us. Erin McCullough in the building, and we are out.